Good afternoon. Some people think that a sleeping bag is nothing more than a bag for sleeping in. Well, I'm here to tell you a story about how my sleeping bag is much more than that. Now, before I get to this amazing sleeping bag, let me tell you about a few items that I have in it. I have 3 items in my sleeping bag, each of which represents some part of my life. The 3 items that I have are a hammer, a cap, and a pair of glasses. Now, the hammer, for me, represents my hardened past. I've been a workaholic for many years, done a lot of construction work, a lot of hard work, and the hardness of this steel can represent that. Also, being a carpenter over the years, a hammer is a perfect representation of that part of my life. Now, this particular hammer has much more meaning to me from the days that I was in the Army. Now, I was stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany between the years of 1989 and 1991. And as you may know, in November of 1989, the Berlin Wall was opened. And that was when they started tearing it down. So a few friends of mine decided that we should drive to Berlin and see this awesome event. So we go there and we see these people coming across the Berlin Wall for the first time in something like 40 years. These people were so happy to be freed. They would come across this border and just start hugging people, even if they didn't know them, just because they were so happy to finally be freed. And as you may know, in communist countries, they typically like to have all their factories build refrigerators and everyone gets a refrigerator. Then they have their factories all build cars and everyone gets a car. So the cars that were all coming across from East Germany were the same, like different colors, but the same car. So we call them DDR cars because DDR stands for Democratic Deutschland Republic, and that's what East Germany was, DDR. So my friends and I are walking along the Berlin Wall, picking up little pieces of the wall for souvenirs, and you could tell we were American soldiers. Everybody knows what an American soldier looks like over there. So this little DDR car pulls up to us and stops right by me. And there's a man and a woman in the front seat and a young girl in the back seat, probably 12 or 13 years old. Well, this young girl gets out of the back seat of this car and walks up to me and hands me this hammer and this chisel, which is not included in my bag, but I thought I could include it for my story. And she tells me, my father says compliments of DDR, which I thought was really cool because that's his way of saying DDR was going to help us tear down that wall. And that was a great event, and that's a way that this hammer represents that part of my life. So because of all of my hard work for so many years, I've realized now's the time for me to further my education so that I can have a more fruitful and enjoyable future. Which leads me to the next item in my bag, a cap. Not just any cap, this is a graduation cap, which can represent me as a college student. A graduation cap can represent this time of my life, this part of my life. Another way it can represent a part of my life is because over the years I've worked as a mechanic in the Army, electronics technician, a carpenter. I've worn many hats over the years. Right now I work full-time student, and I'm a single parent to my teenage son. So I wear many hats, and that's a way that a cap or a hat can represent this part of my life. Now, the aspect of this cap that represents another aspect of this cap that represents my life is because I am going to graduate college next year, and I plan to wear this type of cap several more times before I finish all of my education. And with all of this education, that'll allow me to see a clear, bright future for myself. Which brings me to the third item in my bag, a pair of glasses. Not only do these glasses allow someone to see clearly who needs glasses to see, but they can allow me to see a bright, clear future for myself. Another way that a pair of glasses can represent my life is that with all of this college graduation, I'll be able to get a new job and sort of become like a new person. And when I wear glasses, maybe I look like a different or new person. So they can represent my life in that way. And the other way that these glasses can represent my life, this part of my life, is because as a person that never needed glasses when he was younger, and now I'm a 45-year-old student, these glasses are representing that I'm getting old. Okay, so those are the three items in my bag. These three items can fit easily into my bag, which symbolizes the road that I've traveled. Now let's get to that amazing sleeping bag. My sleeping bag is an old Army sleeping bag. And although it is a bag for sleeping in, it can be so much more than that. As a young soldier in the field, my sleeping bag was a place of comfort. When I was feeling homesick or down, it was a place you could go and feel comfortable and warm. You could feel safe there. When we were in the field, sometimes it was cold. So that was a place where you could go and feel warm after a long day of work. People couldn't wait to get back to their tent and get in their sleeping bag. And in the morning, nobody wanted to get out of their sleeping bag because that was your comfortable, warm place. You didn't want to leave when you had to get up and do things that you didn't want to do. So today, when I see this sleeping bag, it's a reminder of, tough times, rough new experiences, and the comfort that I achieved from that. Now you have an idea of the past, present, and future of mine. You learned about three items that give me the hardness of my work ethic, the determination that drives me, and the vision to see a clearer path. These qualities can be symbolized by a hammer, a graduation cap, and a pair of glasses, all wrapped up in an old Army sleeping bag. Thank you.